But yeah, that when you guys were talking about Gainax, I was just jumping in saying like whenever I think of Gainax, I think of like that coked out like Daikon 4 opening, which you can watch on YouTube. It's
Yeah, people
insane.
should definitely check that out too if they haven't.
And Wings of Aniames is a perfect like afternoon movie to watch. Really good, and you actually get a little emotional at the end too, because it's just
I
like,
remember
oh.
the last scene.
Yeah, I need
That's
to
like the
see
thing
that
that
again.
sticks in my head. I do remember the last scene looked really, really.
Actually, that's a perfect example of like if you don't have a lot of money, because like it's really hard to end a movie, whether it's anime or Western movies like that. Like it always has a strong opening, a good second act, but like the third act always falls apart. But this is the problem with many movies, right? But Wings on Animes, I love the ending because like the big climax happens, and then the thing happens, and then the denouement, like the end of the movie, the resolution of this movie, is in the credits. And so that's what I loved about it. And there's these beautiful, like hand-drawn illustrations of the credits and stuff like that. And I was like, oh wow, that's such a perfect ending. That we don't have to sit through like credits. Like the credits are playing and you see the illustration of what happened, and how he was celebrated and all stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's a great way to end a movie. I always like that, and it probably was cheap too.
When did you make the or did either of you make the transition from buying VHS and DVDs to ever like downloading stuff? So obviously that's illegal. No one should do it, but we all did it back in the day. So, but
I don't
like,
know what you're talking about, Henry.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I downloaded like crazy, so I'll just say that. But I made that jump. The first anime that I probably downloaded some movies and stuff like that. Remember there was Kazaa, the download, and then I jumped to IRC, which not too many people that I know jumped to, but like that was pre-torrents in existence.
Yeah.
It was IRC, and in IRC it was just like a ton of text, and you had to request downloads, and then it would get sent to you. But like you didn't even know what you were downloading. I mean, if you knew that like download and then Goodfellas, then you download the movie Goodfellas, right? But for anime, you don't know what's airing in Japan, right? And there's no internet. Like, I mean, the internet's obviously existing. You're downloading it from the internet, but like there's not all the resources that there are now where you could just Google it and then images come up. So like it would be a Japanese name, and I'm like, someone says they have this series for download, and if I type in this code, then the download will come to me, but I have no idea what I'm downloading at all. So, but that was right when I went to college, and I was like, I don't care. That was like my peak of just like ridiculous nerddom, because I didn't even know what I was downloading, but I was like, I don't care. I'm watching everything. So I'm the person that knows every single anime ever. And like, so the first one I downloaded was Azumanga Daioh.
Oh God.
Do you know that one?
I know that one.
It like it's a ridiculous comedy. Like it's with
like crazy girl,
super simple characters. Yeah. It's like absolutely SD ridiculous characters. I mean, it's kind of funny in some parts, but like nothing you'd expect me to watch. But I didn't care. I was like, I'm watching every episode of this, and the OVAs, and the short films, everything. And then all the Gundams I downloaded. I watched all the Gundams, and in Gundam X, there was a Gundam called the Airmaster. Right. And so then as I'm searching for other things people have, I see someone has for download a series called Airmaster. And I'm like, oh, that must be a spinoff of Gundam X. And I downloaded that. Airmaster was not a spinoff of Gundam X. It was like a Grappler Baki fighting series, but with like this like super like buff woman or like girl, I guess, because she's in like high school or middle school or something, but she looks like the character designs is like she's like 45 and like there's no way this is a schoolgirl ever. But that series was kind of awesome. But that's how I like ended up watching so much. When people nowadays are like, how do you know so much? Like every single like, you know, everything, Henry, like, what's that? That's that series. What's that? That's that series. What's that? And it's like, how do you know? Like if I saw an Airmaster poster, I'd be like, oh, that's Airmaster. That went for actually 27 episodes, which was unique because obviously 2 Cores is always 26 episodes. Henry, how do you know that? Because I downloaded it and watched it. And it's like, how'd you know to download that and watch that? Why did you pick that one? And my answer is, I didn't pick it. I was like, what's this? I think it's a Gundam thing. Oh, it's not a Gundam thing. I'm watching it anyway. Boom, 27. Yeah. And so
I think like that was one where like I didn't know it was just called Ping Pong. And
there's 2. So Ping Pong is a newer, what is it? Masaki Yuasa directed it, and it's the Taiyo Matsumoto manga.
Yeah.
That came out like 10 years ago. But I think I know what you're talking about. There was something called, and I didn't watch it, but I saw the trailers for it on like all my VHS, which was like Welcome to the Ping Pong Club, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was,
It was super
I don't know what
raunchy.
I mean, if you watched it, you'd know better than me, but it seemed like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's super raunchy. But the one I saw was like an anime. I never read the mangas or anything like that. You know, it was around the same time as GTO as well and stuff like that. But I just remember watching Ping Pong and I was just like, what is this? It's so raunchy. It's like Porky's, except anime version of it. And there's one joke that always sticks in my mind where like one of the kids was like, he was like the booger. He was like the dirty one. He was the rowdiest of them all. And he was this little kind of small guy kid. And he's like, I'm going to do the turtle. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to do the turtle. He's going to do the turtle. And then it's just one shot. It's super close up. So you don't know what you're looking at, but it's just like an asterisk. Right. And then all of a sudden you just see a ping pong like come out of it and it pops onto the table. But they never show like the full thing. It's just like him like get down and then it cuts like a super close up. So you have no idea what I'm looking at. And they cut back and it's the ping pong table.
I
And I was like,
wonder if that was like
so
an
funny.
edit for the American
It might be.
VHS, and like it was a pullback of something really nasty.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
might
like
be.
that could have been it, or it just could have been the joke is you don't know exactly what it is, but you kind of think you do. But
Yeah.
that's funny because I really don't know, because back then they definitely did edit VHS tapes though.
Yeah, that's all I remember of that. Like that it was a digital thing. It was something that was, you know, my friend downloaded it. And then watched it. And I think because this was like in the early to mid aughts that I saw that and stuff like that.
Rejean, got anything to add?
Man, like I can't remember exactly, but like the earliest downloads I remember were Furikuri or what was it, FLCL, and I think that was only 6 episodes. But I remember I would just like I didn't really know what was going on. It was subtitled, but I still didn't really get the story that much. But some of the animation sequences, because you know I think that was Gainax, right? Furikuri. It was
Gainax and Production IG together.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
That series. Sorry to cut you off. I'll kick it back to you in 1 second, but just real quick. That was my life. The second year of college, I went to see Kill Bill Volume 1 in theaters, and when I went to see that, the like game store next to the movie theater had the first DVD, which was super rare at the time. It was like sold out everywhere. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's the thing that online everyone's saying no one can find. Holy crap. So I bought it, not even knowing what it was, but I just knew it was super rare. And like, I can't believe they have this rare item. And Furikuri was my life for a year. I love that series.
It's really short too. It's only like
6 episodes.
Yeah, 4 or 6 episodes. Well, yeah.
They did Dead Leaves after that.
Yeah, like I used to watch. What was it? I think it was Imaishi Hiroyuki, who did a lot of the Ekonte and the key animation. But man, like I used to watch just certain animation sequences over and over again. It was just like, God damn, how are they doing this shit? This is so amazing.
Yeah.
And then also it was Abe no Bashi Mahou Shotenkai.
I never watched that one. I know exactly what you're talking about though. Yeah,
it's just the one cool. It's just
that was also Gainax. Yeah, you like Gainax.
Yeah.
You're all about Gainax.
Yeah. It was like 12 episodes. But it was just funny because you know it was more like a parody anime. Like the characters would get stuck in these worlds that were kind of similar to something like some trope. Like was it robot anime, Sailor Moon style world, and then one was like a video game world, and it got a lot of laughs out of that series.
There was an episode of Paranoia Agent that was like that too. Did you ever watch
it? I did.
I did watch
it. Yeah.
You know, there should be like a vlog topic about how David Lynch like influenced anime, because like everything is like David Lynchian, like from Paranoia Agent to Lane. You know,
well, he's
like,
super famous. After Twin Peaks, David Lynch blew up in Japan. Everyone.
Yeah. Because like all the anime from that on was all this like super abstract, like Paranoia Agent's crazy. Like I just remember an episode, not to cut you off, Rejean, there was one episode, like I was wishy-washy, and I think that was around the time that Satoshi Kon had died. That was like his last project.
It was.
Did he do something else?
It was in between Tokyo Godfathers and Paprika was the last.
I'll get that. But there's one episode of Paranoid Agent that I really liked. It was the one where it was like this like kind of not animation studio, but like a line studio where it's like this guy like creates all the cute characters and stuff like that. And everyone's like, you're the greatest. You keep creating all these cute characters. And they're like, oh, so when's the next cute characters coming out? And that's just the episode. And like the cute characters start like torturing him. And like the people that are all super nice around him are like, you're kind of a little late with your character designs. It's really bit bad if you can't do this. And like it just becomes like the pressure just ramps up to create these cute little characters that everyone like consumes and enjoys like that. That was like my favorite episode. And like I forget how it ends, but I think it ends with him like dying or killing someone or you know. And
Some
I think
of those
that
episodes got really, really dark. Yeah.
yeah, that was my favorite one. I was gonna say something that Rejean had said that like, you know, a lot of Gothic stuff when you watch it and you're like, oh, you'd watch that scene over and over again. And for me, it was the second Vampire Hunter movie. There's a scene where like
Vampire Hunter D movie or Vampire Hunter Darkstalkers. Uh-huh.
That's some Capcom stuff.
I was gonna try and like just
There was an
pause
OVA episode.
like this.
OVA episode.
I remember
There was like 4
Darkstalkers.
of them, right? The
Yeah,
Darkstalker anime.
I heard they were terrible. I never really saw them. But
Animation was really good though.
I'm sorry, Henry. The
You
Vampire
better watch
Hunter
out with these names,
Bloodlust.
Steven. You mess up even one little bit, I'm gonna correct you.
Please. But it was Bloodlust, and it was basically like Vampire Hunter D has to like reluctantly team up with the other vampire hunters. And there's a scene where like the mutants that is released by the main villain vampire goes to try and stop him. There's that one guy that can sink into the shadows or like absorb dark things. And there's a scene where he's underneath the carriage and like he like goes into the shadows and like these spikes slowly kind of pierce through the carriage. And as soon as it rises into the interior of the carriage, it just explodes into like and it's just like piercing everything. I watched that scene so many times on how they did that. Was that CG? Was it just hand drawn? I just love that sequence, you know.
Yoshiaki
Anyames.
was like the second artist that I started recognizing. The first one I think was Nobuteru Yuki, but then the second one I was like, I swear this ninja scroll looks like this, you know, this Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which also didn't it look a little bit like that Demon City Shinjuku? And then I was like, oh, same guy.
I apologize, everyone. I'm being called away, like
You know what?
serious work, stuff like that.
All right, Steven, you could head out now. Give us a Shtajio Daiji, and then I'll wrap this up with Rejean.
Absolute pleasure. I want to talk more nerd stuff for our next podcast. So in the meantime, I'll say thank you for having me in this episode and Shtajio Daiji.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I guess hang up, Steven.
Yeah, I'm gonna click leave. Bye.
Peace.
If Steven didn't do that, right behind him, you know, Arthel would come in and then they'd start talking about like private stuff that's happening in the current project. And then we'd have an episode like, oh, so the current production, so and so.
Oh man, and it'll be all up on us. God dang it.
Yeah,
man, I was just just reminiscing on old stuff. But another one was one of my favorites. It's just funny anime. I know you know this one, Golden Boy. It was like 6 episodes. Boy, oh man, like I remember I used to see it at the store, at the comic shop, and this was around the time when what was it? I started seeing actual anime official video cassettes at the store, and I remember at the time it was like 2 episodes for like $35-$40. I was like, man, I can't do it. Yeah, and I feel, man, I actually feel like I want to buy a Blu-ray of this because I feel bad for downloading it, but it was, but oh man, like just I love the sun. I actually did read the manga as well. It's quite different. It's similar, but different on the level.
Those OVAs used to change stuff massively. Like I said, I always reference Yoma, which I really love, but I bought the manga of Yoma and it's really different. I mean, the bare bone story is the same. Here's the character designs. Here's
it's just like that.
Here's where the final battle happens. But then everything in between and every line of dialogue is different.
Yeah. And it wasn't just that. It was like the level of sexuality or the
Golden Boy, yeah, was ridiculous.
in the manga it's way more than the anime. But I just love that sudden switch of expression.
Yes.
Like he would go to like weird face to like just totally serious. Like I love that so much.
Okay, so on Golden Boy, okay, a few things to
Yeah.
say about Golden Boy. All right.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe we can make this the last one. This is probably going long. I'm talking about just nerdy stuff, but or we'll wrap it up with something. But okay, Golden Boy. You know, this is going to sound like a tangent, but it's not. There's a reason I'm saying this. The New York Times just like this week posted a tweet, if you saw, which was like, there was like an article they wrote, which is like, with the Demon Slayer movie selling so well, anime may be moving from subculture into mainstream. And they got destroyed on Twitter. Like people are sharing photos of like Pikachu and Goku at like the Macy's Day Parade. Oh yes, anime that no one is familiar with now. Goku in the middle of like just giant float, right? It's like like anime has already been mainstream. Like they got harassed to the point where I think they took it down, was like the story that I read. Like they were like, okay, I'm sorry. The reason I say, so that's real, that's a funny story just in and of itself. The reason I mentioned that though is because even though now it may be mainstream, it really truly was a very, very obscure subculture just in the 90s, right? Like if you liked anime, it was like, oh, you like those weird foreigner cartoons, right? Like it was like that, right? And so how this ties into Golden Boy is, there were some anime that normal people, normal as in like, I don't watch anime, don't talk to me about anime, like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, don't even talk to me about Dragon Ball Z. Ugh, this is a nerd, right? Even Akira kind of made it in to a certain extent of like, maybe a lot of people saw it, but even Akira and Ninja Scroll, as popular as they were, I don't know if like it was just 100% universally loved. Like the fans loved it. They were really popular, but like, was this truly something everyone knew? But people who were not into that stuff at all, always around the turn of the century, multiple times I heard like, if anime came up, oh yeah, I'm not into that stuff. Oh, but Cowboy Bebop is cool and Golden Boy is cool. Like people had Golden Boy VHS or DVDs, and like there was just something about him that was just so because like there was something about those that didn't have the super Japanesey influence, you know, that maybe kept people away from others series, right? It's like it feels foreign, it doesn't feel like my culture, kind of. But Cowboy Bebop just felt like an American like action movie, like I can enjoy it and just jump right into it. And Golden Boy had just such universally hilarious perverted humor. Like perverted humor is like a staple of anime, but Golden Boy did it differently. Golden Boy is like a different beast altogether. It is so funny. And Golden Boy is one of the very rare occasions for me. I'm a subtitle person. I want to see it in the original.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Every time. It's never better in dub for me personally, unless it's made in that language. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust was made in English first, so I watched that in English, and it's good. But for me, it's like always go to the original. But Golden Boy is very unique in that the English version
is English is good as well, right?
I think it's better than the Japanese. The English, because I watched both, and when I bought the DVD and I finally had the ability to watch both, the English, the main character in particular did such a good job. He's so funny. Even to this day, I remember certain lines. Like he's like just ranting and screaming about I guess like his inner, you know, mojo going crazy when he sees women. And like when he sees the swimming woman, he just having all of these visions of like Savannah, Africa, and all, and all that stuff. And he's like, the beast. And I'm like, what? Like he's just screaming, like, but then it cuts out, and it's like he was really doing that in public. And like, oh my god! And he's just like, the beast, I'm losing control. There's just such universally hilarious humor in that like even if you're a totally normal person, you're like, okay, honestly, that's really fun.
Yeah, I actually felt that way about Cowboy Bebop as well. That was my first two DVDs I ever bought was Cowboy Bebop and the first season, or the first 4 episodes, and Blue Submarine #6. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop, the voices, even in English, like I felt like this is fine. Like that was like the one, like that and Golden Boy were like the only ones I felt. Oh, also, what was that? Oh, Gunsmith Cats. That was another one.
You know,
The
I never
OVA.
there were some that I couldn't get it. Like, yeah, as much as I say I watch everything, like I've watched probably anime every day almost of my life for all these years. But even still, there's just some you can't get to. So like the shopping arcade one that you were mentioning, and then yeah, Gunsmith Cats, and also Riding Bean. Although I did eventually I watched Riding Bean a few years ago. When like that Kickstarter was going on for like a sequel. I was like, I guess I should watch this. But I never watched the spin-off, the Gunsmith Cats, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, going back to what you were saying about anime being popular. I mean, I feel like anime and manga, they're kind of, it's, to me, in my mind, they're like the same thing, even though they're different forms of media. But I remember this is in the early 2000s, going to Borders bookstore and Barnes and Noble bookstore, and I don't know if they're still around now, but at the time, I would go into these stores and I would see the manga section, and it'd be like one gondola, just manga, manga, manga. Other side, manga, manga, manga. And then another gondola, manga, manga, manga. Other side, manga, manga, manga. And then I would look at the American comic section, and when it was just this, like this, around this size gondola. And at that time, this was probably like around 2002, 3, 4. I was like, wow, like I feel like it already surpassed, maybe I get crap for this, for saying this, but I felt like at that time, it was already, I don't want to say surpassed American comics, but.
No, in terms of like, what was becoming popular, like what was on the rise, like if you saw those flow charts, like the line charts, like whatever statistic you want to put, I mean, I don't know if American comics would be going down or be even or have like a little slant upward even, but manga and anime were definitely like this, right?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Probably in terms of both sales and in terms of like popularity and like name recognition starting to become popular. I mean, yeah, that you and I got in anime about the same time, and yeah, they were just like, they were licensed. I mean, there was a bubble that did burst then, right? But they were just licensing everything and putting everything out. But
yeah, and it was hella expensive too, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember buying a Blade of the Immortal. I bought the first 17. I'd wait. They came out like once or twice a year, each tankobon or a book, and it's like $17 for just a manga. And I was like,
I hear you, but dude, nothing will. I say nothing, but nothing will really beat like really early anime VHS. I'm talking early 90s VHS. Even before when I started buying them regularly. So like I started buying them regularly when like Demon City Shinjuku really came out which was still early. It was probably like 94 or 5, something like that, maybe 6. I don't remember the exact year, but like before that, all I could do is rent, because when I went to the stores to see how much they were, it was like Ranma 1/2 episode, like VHS. 2 episodes. So we're talking like 40 minutes on this VHS tape, right? Like 45 minutes maybe. That's what opening and ending, right?
$40.
$40. $20 per episode. Like, dude, the price of really early anime was just so ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, who owned that whole thing? If you own that whole thing, I really don't know if I want to give you props or like sit you down. Like, dude,
I kind of get it, because
but not only was that a fortune. So let's just say you're rich. So I won't even okay, fine, you're rich. But like, how many VHS tapes must you have had for the whole 200 episode Ranma series? Like, your wall must have just been Ranma VHS tapes.
Yeah, now you can just watch the whole series on Prime if you have a subscription. But yeah, oh man, like I feel like it was so niche at the time. Same thing with manga and anime, that maybe they had to charge that premium. But I did notice that when Shonen Jump or Viz had like the Shonen Jump in America in the early 2000s, that's when manga started getting cheaper. Because usually a tankobon, which is a full manga, would be like anywhere from 15 to 17, $18. But from like 2002, 3-ish, I remember manga went down to like $10. And then, going, I think Shonen Jump, the manga, at least back when I was in America, it went down to like $7. But still, even though that's a lot cheaper than it was before, compared to manga in Japan, it was like $4 for a manga, $4 to like $7 for a manga in Japan, or even less than that, probably like $4 to like $5. But yeah, like after some time in America, it started to get cheap. I don't know about now though, because I haven't been to the stores at all. But
all right, yeah, almost called you myself, Rejean.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Right here at the end,
I get it.
ruin it all. We got to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
No. We got to wrap this up. It's probably gone crazy long.
Yes.
Real quick. I just thought of this. Give one suggestion of something that people should watch, but make it something super rare and weird, like that they haven't seen. I'll go first because I don't know why this series is just popping in my head. Because like right now we're talking about all these series, and I'm trying to give suggestions and things to talk about. Haibane Renmei. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
Haibane Renmei. I think
it's
how it's. Let me say Haibane. Yeah. Haibane Renmei. This one, I only watched it one time, and way back in the day. This is probably like the first year or so that I started downloading anime. It's a 2002 anime, and I probably watched it then, right when I downloaded it.
Yoshitoshi, Lane, same character designer as Lane.
Yes. It's the Lane guy. It's so weird, but it's so good. To this day, I remember two things about it. Number one, the music. The music was gorgeous. I listen to the soundtrack sometimes when I work because it's just, even to this day, like there's a few songs in there that's just unbelievable. And the second thing is like the story is very kind of artsy and mysterious and stuff, but it has such an unbelievable like setting, like the whole world kind of. I'm forgetting the word, but like world building and like the whole feel of the whole thing, right, is just so amazing. It's like this is right from episode 1. What I even remember about it to this day, even though I only watched it one time way back then, is like all the characters wake up and they're like angels essentially with like I forget if they have the halo, but they definitely have the wings, right? And like they think like as best you can tell and as best they can tell, they died and this is the afterlife, but like they can't remember everything, right? So they're like, when did you come here? I don't know. Like, what are you doing, right? And it's like navigating probably like the afterlife, like this version of the afterlife, but it's just then mysterious and it's just so unique. Like that's not like, it's not a fighting series or a comedy series or anything like that. It just stands out as one of like very unique ones to me that has setting that you don't see anywhere else. So I bet a lot of people nowadays have never heard of that series at all. So that's the random one I'll suggest to them.
That's interesting because I did remember at one of the anime expos in the early 2000s, I bought some of Abe Yoshitoshi's art books. And of course, I had what was it? No, it wasn't an art book. It was a sketchbook, and he had some of the sketches from this in the book. But of the things he made, or the works that he character designed, I'd only watched Lane and Near Under 7. But I
never watched that one. I know what you're talking about. If I saw an image, I would recognize it, but I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, but like, man. But I remember seeing these sketches in the book, but I was not. I think I was aware of it, but I just never got.
Well,
around
this
to
is a good
watching
one
it.
for you to watch, Rejean, because this is an
Yeah.
original, an anime original. I don't believe there's a manga from it.
Yeah, I don't think probably not.
So yeah.
Man,
Anything
what's
you
a
saw back in the day you don't think the kids today know about?
well, definitely Abenobashi, my whole shooting guy.
Okay,
That's a
all right, no,
freaking
that's fair.
a
You mentioned that
mouthful.
one.
Like I
You know
know
what?
there's probably something that would show up. It would probably come out after we stop the meeting. I'll be like, oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
That's all
But
right. Me too.
for now,
Me too. Because
it'll be.
Haibane Renmei is definitely not like my, overall like favorite anything. But it just came. But that's a good one. I think the what was it? Like the English title of that was what? Like Magical Shopping Arcade or something like that.
I have no
I
idea.
think was it even like Akihabara Magical Shopping? Was it
it,
Akihabara?
it takes place in Osaka, a town in Osaka. I guess a magical, because Shotenga is like shopping street, so magical shopping street
I got it.
probably.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was Magical Shopping Arcade Abenobashi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I
That's
mean, if you like just to laugh and
I bet
it's
the
if you
Sakuga fans today will like it, right? Because it's definitely got that like Gainax feel with those like wild.
yeah, especially like I can't remember so much the last half. It gets kind of slow, but like I remember episode 2, they fall into this like RPG world. The third episode was just all over the place. It was probably Imaishi Hiroyuki that was doing the animation, because it's so crazy and off the wall. It was mostly when they're in space. There's this what was it? There's like the kind of Sailor Moonish type of thing going on, and the robot anime. And I think the second to last episode was the Hollywood. It was like a parody of all these like Hollywood movies. But yeah, it's just a fun series. You don't have to think too hard or anything like that. It's
right.
Yeah, but
The chat, we can honestly go on for this for hours. And for people out there listening, this is kind of how we work when we've been home for the last many months, but like when we all work at the studio, this is kind of it, right? It's like as you're sketching, it's like, I remember that series, that one was good, that was bad, right?
Getting arguments.
No. We have these conversations when we're not arguing, which is to say we have these conversations 20% of the time.
Yes. And then we argue 80% of the time.
All right, everyone. So that was this week's episode. Shtajio ga daiji.
Shtajio ga daiji. Thanks for having me. We'll do this again. Shtajio ga daiji. Peace.